Hey everyone, I'm Lady Silivine and welcome to my realm of purpose. Since it was Valentine's this week, I decided to share with you some of my favourite love stories from Dragon Age. Not all of them, but the ones that usually come to mind first. First, the elven creation myth of Elgar'nan and Mythal. Now, I know the truth of the elven gods and the mythos the Dalish believe are two very different things, but I just really love the mythology side of it. I'm already super into ancient Greek, Egyptian, and Norse mythology in real life, so it kind of falls under that umbrella. I also just really love unconventional love stories, and this one just radiates this otherworldly battle of emotion. So if you're like me, you'll love this. Long ago, when time itself was young, the only things in existence were the sun and the land. The sun, curious about the land, bowed his head close to her body, and Elgar'nan was born in the place where they touched. The sun and the land loved Elgar'nan greatly, for he was beautiful and clever. As a gift to Elgar'nan, the land brought forth great birds and beasts of the sky and forest, all manner of wonderful green things. Elgar'nan loved his mother's gifts, and praised them highly, and walked amongst them often. The sun, looking down upon the fruitful land, saw the joy that Elgar'nan took in her works, and grew jealous. Out of spite he shone his face full upon all the creatures the earth had created, and burned them all to ashes. The land cracked and split from bitterness and pain, and cried salt tears for the loss of all she had wrought. The pool of tears cried for the land became the ocean, and the cracks in her body the first rivers and streams. Elgar'nan was furious at what his father had done, and vowed vengeance. He lifted himself into the sky and wrestled the sun, determined to defeat him. They fought for an eternity, and eventually the sun grew weak while Elgar'nan's rage was unabated. Eventually Elgar'nan threw the sun down from the sky and buried him in a deep abyss created by the land's sorrow. With the sun gone, the world was covered in shadow, and all that remained in the sky were the reminders of Elgar'nan's battle with his father, drops of the sun's lifeblood, which twinkled and shimmered in the darkness. Pleased with himself, Elgar'nan sought to console his mother, the earth, by replacing all that the sun had destroyed. But the earth knew that without the sun, nothing could grow. She whispered to Elgar'nan this truth, and pleaded with him to release his father. But Elgar'nan's pride was great, and his vengeance was terrible, and he refused. It was at this moment that Mythal walked out of the sea of the earth's tears and onto the land. She placed her hand on Elgar'nan's brow, and at her touch he grew calm, and knew that his anger had led him astray. Humbled, Elgar'nan went to the place where the sun was buried and spoke to him. Elgar'nan said he would release the sun if the sun promised to be gentle, and to return to the earth each night. The sun, feeling remorse at what he had done, agreed. And so the sun rose again in the sky, and shone his golden light upon the earth. Elgar'nan and Mythal, with the help of the earth and the sun, brought back to life all the wondrous things that the sun had destroyed, and they grew and thrived. And that night, when the sun had gone to sleep, Mythal gathered the glowing earth around his bed, and formed it into a sphere to be placed in the sky, a pale reflection of the sun's true glory. This next one takes me back to my first playthrough of Dragon Age Origins, where I played the human noble origin, and I got super invested in the family aspect of that. It's one of my favourites. I especially love the story of how your parents, Bryce and Eleanor Cousland, fell in love. It's just so incredibly down to earth and wholesome. It starts in the last few years of the Blessed Age, as the people of Ferelden fought to defy Orlesian occupation. Bryce fought in the army alongside Arl Leonis Bryland and Arl Rendon Howe, saving the life of the latter. After King Merrick reclaimed the capital of Denerim, and anticipating the Orlesians' attempt to take back the city by sea, many soldiers were to attend to the fleet by Banferker, including the young Lord Bryce. Eleanor, born Eleanor MacEnrig, the youngest daughter of Banferker the Storm Giant, was raised on the Storm Coast on the decks of warships. Among his 4 children, Eleanor was the most skilled, and at the age of only 15, she took down her first Orlesian warship. She went on to captain her own ship, called the Mistral, and soon became infamous for capturing and sinking Orlesian vessels. As her reputation grew, the Orlesians would dub her the Sea Wolf, which is hilarious because Orlesian language is based in real-world French, and if you translate Sea Wolf to French, it's loup de mer. And fun fact actually, loup de mer means sea bass, or possibly wolffish. While it would typically be an insult from the Orlesians, comparing her to a fish, the Fereldans would take it at face value and assume it's a pretty damn cool title. Wolf of the Ocean, or Sea Wolf. I love it. The 2 of them would meet as Bryce, as well as other soldiers, joined the Mistral. Famously, the first meeting between Bryce and Eleanor went so badly that a sea shanty was made to immortalise it, called The Soldier and the Sea Wolf. Whilst Eleanor and Bryce initially came into conflict with one another, they worked rather well together, destroying a dozen warships in the Battle of Denerim Harbour, and soon enough they became good friends. Shortly after the battle, Bryce's father, Terran William Cousland, died, and being his only son, he was to take his body home for funeral rites. When he arrived in Highover, the nobles quickly swore fealty to him. This led to some complications, as many freeholders swore allegiance to Bryce instead of the Arl. His ascension to Terran Cousland of Highover took 4 complicated months because of this, and every day he sent a letter to his dear friend Eleanor. Some days, it said, he sent more than one. Eventually, the 2 would meet again face to face at the coronation of King Marek, where he attempted to propose to Eleanor by singing all 10 verses of the shanty, but he only got to 3 verses when she accepted his proposal. This last example is one from Inquisition that I think a lot of people overlook, but it's always something I look forward to each playthrough, because it's just the sweetest thing to stumble across. In Act 1 of the game, when you wander outside Haven, by the blacksmith and the little horse paddock, there's these 2 people standing outside the paddock, and when you get close enough by passing by, you overhear little snippets of their conversations. And as you progress for the story, you eavesdrop on the development of their relationship. I've never heard anyone talk about this, since there's a lot of these sorts of eavesdropping events that happen in Inquisition, but really it's tremendous. It just adds so much to the game.
If the Inquisition wants to field a decent cavalry, it needs better horses. I heard Seeker Pentecost might try to acquire suitable mounts from Master Dennett in the hinterlands.
Oh, and who are you to be fishing around for what the higher-ups are doing?
Back in Angsburg, my uncle was 5th Praetor.
And what's that mean for you back in Arnsberg?
Honestly, about as much as it does here. Come on, you've seen our mounts. Most of them should be pulling plows.
You didn't all grow up with fancy noble horses, Arnsberg. You ride whatever holds you. Why are you here with the scouts instead of fobbing around with the nobles anyway?
My uncle died at the conclave. I'm a good rider, and, well, I thought I'd be more useful here.
We'll see. So if we get better horses, you think that'll make a difference?
Master Dennett's horses in the hinterlands are faster and stronger than anything we've got here. A good horse can make all the difference. The mare I grew up with saved my life. She died when the demons attacked.
I'm sorry.
Feels silly to mourn a horse, with all the people we've lit pyres for.
Well, like you said, a good horse can make all the difference.
Have you seen the horses Master Dennett sent the Inquisition? They're magnificent.
Better than what you ride in Arnsberg?
Well...
Ah, you noble boys never change.
Now that we've got better mounts, if you like, I can show you a few tricks to get more out of them.
Oh, can you now?
Fine, forget I said anything. You Ferelden's. Growling at everyone but your dogs.
No, go ahead. Who knows? Maybe some fancy noble riding might save my life if a scouting ride goes wrong. And maybe I'll show you a few tricks as well. You know, Arnsberg, you actually are a good rider under all that fop.
Thank you. Kindly.
You still belong up with the nobles, but I'm glad you stayed down here in the dirt with us peasants.
I had the most selfish of reasons for it, honestly.
Oh.
The Inquisition scouts are getting all of Master Dennett's best horses.
Arse.
And that's all I've got for today, guys. I'd love to hear what your favourite love stories are, whether it be from the lore or a romance you can play out in the games. It's all interesting. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.